The Howard Stern Show.
So when you lose the love of your life,
Yeah.
you talk about how people are afraid to talk about the fact that you were married and that you had a wife. It's like everyone's nervous about it. I would think that you go into such a depression that for a while you can't even act anymore and you can't do anything funny anymore because you watch the one you love leave and you get angry, right? Do you get angry? I would think you're like, well, how could she leave me?
You get all those emotions you're saying.
Yeah.
But, I had been through that when I was young. I was, we were a family we were an Irish Catholic family of 5 kids. I was the youngest. And laughs and edge and sarcasm and my father, hilarious. And then, within 6 years, 3 of those people died.
Your mother died, your father died, and you had a brother that died.
David dies in a car accident.
Your older brother,
the
right?
Eldest, yeah.
Oldest brother.
Yeah. And, everyone's hero. And so you kind of... And it's Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, 1970.
Yeah.
So it's not like, bring in the 9 shrinks. You have to get on your bike and ride around and figure it out. And you do.
Martin, isn't that the worst, though, that there's no one to talk to you about death? Like, we all hide from it. Here, your older brother dies. Your parents die, all within this short period of time. And you're walking around, psychologically, whatever's going on inside of you, you're probably even hiding from yourself because there's no one to talk to. You don't have a psychiatrist. It's
right.
just like...
But I did have and do have amazing older siblings.
And were you able to talk to them about what was going on?
Absolutely.
And they could help you make sense of all of this?
No, I think, they helped me make sense of it, but it was really up to me. And I think that from that, you kind of learn things that become your whole life. Like John Candy used to say when we'd be on Second City stage, he'd say, boy, you have balls of steel, some of the choices you make. And I used to think, well... I don't care about, I've been through other things that are more stressful.
Right.
I talk in the book about Stephen Colbert.
Right.
And that story about when I saw him a couple days after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I said to him, were you scared? But, when President Bush wasn't responding to you, and he said, and then he told me about losing his brothers and father in a plane crash when he was a kid, and he said, no, that day I was scared.
Yeah, how could any of this...
So the rest becomes like, I think I can handle this.
Right.
So I found myself, when I lost my wife Nancy at 60, I thought, boy, 20, 60, this is very interesting. And that's when I started thinking, maybe there's a book here.
Yeah.
Now I can see why I'd write a book. So you just kind of get through it, because the bottom line is we're all going to die, and also no matter what happens, and people are so supportive of you, and then they go home and they see someone scratch their car and say, "Oh, my car is scratched." They just move on in their lives.
So the little shit doesn't bother you, in other words.
Well, I think that for a while, you're on a plane, it's turbulent, you go,
right,
bring it on. But now, you ease out, and you have children. I had 3 children to take over.
Right.
My analogy was we were a jet plane, we lost an engine, so I got to keep flying this thing. My kids are looking to me to see what now, Dad? Do we still have a house? Do we still do Christmas?
Yeah.
The first Thanksgiving was very weird. Obviously.
Your wife's gone.
Wife's
and then
gone,
the kids
and
come
I have
home.
3 kids, and we're doing the dining room table, and I keep trying to figure out how to do this. So I'm moving chairs upstairs so it looks good.
Right.
And I'm getting flowers on the table, and my friend Nora Ephron
What do you think? You're trying to fill in for your wife?
I'm trying to prove that everything will continue, that the family isn't done.
Right.
That traditions aren't done. We will continue on. And I remember I sent a photograph of the table as it was, ready to go, to Andrea Martin.
Right.
And she sent me an email back saying, I'm looking at the table. It's a good attempt. Now get to the fucking counter, because it was
really bad.
It just looks like you're trying to do The Godfather 7, but you can't get the original cast.
But isn't the point that things aren't going to be the same?
No. So I said to the kids that night, I said, you know what, guys? Here's what it is. We have broken our leg, and we wanted to go in a marathon, but we have a cast on, and we have a cast for a while, but we won't always have a cast on our leg, and that's what it is.
Do you get to say goodbye to your wife? Do you get to say, do you have that moment where you say,
here's what's interesting, I think, about anyone who's sick. I think that, she had ovarian cancer. So there are 2 groups of people that battle that, I think, or any disease. And one is they write letters to be read at the person's, wedding in 10 years.
They
and the other person says, I got to lick this. I am so fine. This
Right.
is not a problem. And that's where Nancy was.
Nancy was like, up until the end, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to beat this thing.
You know what? Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'd prefer to be that person.
Yeah, I think I would too. Well, I don't know. I don't think we know.
Yeah. Did it start to freak you out about your own demise when you have to watch the one you love die? Do you start to
I
think
think at
about
that
death?
time you as I say, you're on a plane and it's turbulence, you bring it on. I think, at a certain point in an unbelievable soulful relationship, I think the people at some point merge and become one person.
You think you could ever be in another relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could.
And I think
but it
Nancy
would
would want that.
tricky.
I don't know Nancy, but
Absolutely, she would.
she'd want you to be happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's tricky.
When did you start dating?
About a year and a half or something. You
Yeah.
kind of wait. You kind of
'Cause
dabble.
there are children, and you've got lots of emotional
Yeah, and you're
stuff
not.
to
You're
deal
just. You're
with.
confused. You don't.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, what
Yeah.
I think is strange, after being into such a wonderful relationship, that you're dating Lindsay Lohan now. It seems odd, an odd choice.
yeah, but she's a spirit, and that's what you don't get about her.
What don't I know about
That
Lindsay
would be
Lohan?
great.
First of all, she's really well read.
Yes.
There's
Really?
not a Harold Robbins novel she can't quote.
And you love her mother, right? And her father. You get along
Well,
very well with them.
Mama. You mean
Mama. You call her Mama now.
I do
already.
call her Mama.
And you're just dating.
Yeah, and she's cool because she's beautiful looking, and
Right.
yet every time she smiles, a hunk of makeup will fall off, but she catches it quickly.
Wow.
And
She's
it's just
like a ninja.
gift. Yeah, she's like a ninja.
The Howard Stern Show.